week on the show, we have Australian writer Melinda Charlesworth, who's the author of Calm is a Skill. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching. This show's all about giving you insights and showcasing brands that help you to live your best life and give you confidence. As always, I want to kickstart your morning with some motivational advice to help you to feel inspired and energized to start your day. Today, I want to talk about understanding that you're always one decision away from living your dream life. The reality is, a single choice has the power to completely reshape your entire future. Just like a falling domino, a single choice can set off a powerful chain reaction that transforms your future. One phone call, one conversation, or one trip is often all it takes to spark unstoppable momentum. The next time you find yourself unhappy in your circumstances, remind yourself of the possibility that you could be one decision away from turning it all around and creating a fresh new momentum and future. So have that convo, apply for that job, and do that one thing that scares and excites you at the same time, because you never know what exciting possibilities await you. As Mel Robbins quotes, "You are one decision away from a completely different life."
Stay tuned. Coming up after the break.
And fast forward, let's talk about your book, Calm is a Skill. You talk about regulating your nervous system. So how does your nervous system play a part in regulating our emotions and giving us clarity?
Yeah, well, in the book, I frame it with two characters. So basically, we've got the caveman and we've got the CEO. So the caveman is your amygdala. It's your limbic system. It's the ancient part of your brain. And I like to call the caveman Barry. So Barry's there. His one job is to keep you alive. He's there to protect you, and he's always looking for tigers. The problem is he's running really old software, and so he can't tell the difference between an actual tiger and an email from your boss. So he's really fast and he's important, but he overreacts sometimes. Now, your CEO is your prefrontal cortex. So it's the thinking, rationalizing, communicating part of your brain. And when Barry is chasing tigers, you have less access to your CEO part of your brain. And so the premise of the book is essentially enabling you to regulate your body in real time so that you can let Barry know that you're safe, so that your CEO comes back online and you're able to access that higher order thinking that we need.
Wardrobe provided by Le Chateau.
Next up on the show, we have Australian writer Melinda Charlesworth. Melinda is the author of Calm is a Skill, offering readers practical advice on how to connect with your feelings and regulate your nervous system for more clarity and peace in your life. Melinda, thank you so much for being on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. We have a lot to talk about, including your new book, Calm is a Skill. But before we get into that, let's talk about your background. I know you've had over 15 careers. So how do you think your experience has led you here today in teaching people how to stay calm and have more clarity?
Yeah, well, I often say I haven't had so much as a career path as a career adventure.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of different things, but one of the things that I noticed in all my careers is that when people are under pressure, they don't perform as well. And I have a background in systems, and that enabled me to kind of see the patterns of what was going on. And I've been teaching management and leadership for over 30 years, and I noticed that when people are under pressure, they have less access to what they need to stay calm and enable that higher order thinking. And so once I kind of recognized that there was a pattern there, I was able to start reverse engineering it and deconstructing it and figuring out what was going on for people. And that led me to writing the book.
Very nice. And whether it's coaching women or building businesses, pressure and performance is at the forefront. So have you always been good at dealing with stress, or is it something that you learned along the way?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. So it's something that I realized that if you don't have access to that higher order thinking, then, nothing's going to work. And look, I used to, run on cortisol and guilt. And, I realized that something had to give. And so it was about looking at ways that you can access that thinking and stop and listen to your body and understand what's going on so that you can perform better under pressure.
I feel like so many people can relate. I mean, half the world is stressed, right? They're just running on cortisol and really not regulating their emotions. So I think this book is much needed. And fast forward, let's talk about your book, Calm is a Skill. You talk about regulating your nervous system. So how does your nervous system play a part in regulating our emotions and giving us clarity?
Yeah, well, in the book, I frame it with two characters. So basically, we've got the caveman and we've got the CEO. So the caveman is your amygdala. It's your limbic system. It's the ancient part of your brain. And I like to call the caveman Barry. So Barry's there. His one job is to keep you alive. He's there to protect you, and he's always looking for tigers. The problem is he's running really old software. And so he can't tell the difference between an actual tiger and an email from your boss. So he's really fast and he's important, but he overreacts sometimes. Now, your CEO is your prefrontal cortex. So it's the thinking, rationalizing, communicating part of your brain. And when Barry is chasing tigers, you have less access to your CEO part of your brain. And so the premise of the book is essentially enabling you to regulate your body in real time so that you can let Barry know that you're safe, so that your CEO comes back online and you're able to access that higher order thinking that we need in order to perform.
By the way, I love all the images in the book. You have all these really nice images and it breaks down the information so nicely. So I really love it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And we live in such a hustle culture, like where everybody is constantly hustling. How do we drown out the outer noise and kind of listen to our own voice?
Yeah. So it's a lot of it is that when Barry wakes up and thinks that there's a tiger on the horizon, everything becomes urgent. Which, I mean, think about it. If you were being chased by a tiger, that's exactly what you want. You want, your focus to narrow, your breathing to be shallow so that you're ready to run and all those sorts of things. What we need to do is create that gap so that we can just settle down a little bit and be able to let our body know that we're safe, and so that we can start to think and create that space. So, there's easy ways that we can do that by using our body and getting out of your head. So we get all up in our head and we need to, let our body know that we're safe, because state comes before story. So our body goes into a state of panic before, and then our brain creates a story to kind of justify that. So what we need to do is let our body know that we're safe. And there's several ways that we can do that.
Absolutely. Sometimes I experience this a lot when I go to really high profile events or red carpets. I think my body goes into panic where it's telling me like danger, danger. And as soon as I tell myself I'm safe and that, I'm in a safe environment, all is well, all of a sudden I calm down and I have clarity. It's really, it's really like telling yourself I'm okay, everything's fine. And you can kind of just slowly get back to reality,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even as simple as, feeling your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Like thinking about, okay, my feet are on the ground, looking around the room. Your focus narrows when you're panicking because you're looking for the tiger. So if you widen your field of view and look around the room that you're in or the space that you're in and just kind of let your focus stop on different things, then you can kind of go, okay, I'm safe. And when you're breathing, if you make your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale, it signals your regulation. It signals your nervous system that, okay, we're safe. There is no tiger. And it settles you right down.
I love that. Clarity is not something that you're born with. It's something that you learn. So for anyone that's watching this, that is constantly in a fight or flight mode, what would you say or what tips would you give them to, calm down?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those things I talked about, that body regulation, but also understanding when you're comparing yourself to other people, we're often comparing our inside to somebody else's outside. So people can look really calm on the outside while they've got it all going on the inside. So it's not a fair comparison, but understanding that what's going on in your nervous system is ancient programming. And look, it's not something we want to get rid of because it will keep you alive. So it's important that we have it, but we just need to create that gap so that we can allow that CEO to come back online. So by having that pause between what we're feeling and how we're reacting gives us time for our brain to kind of catch up with our body and what's going on.
And Melinda, you're a mom of 3, which I'm sure is a bit of a handful. How has being calm led you to become a better parent?
Oh, as you can imagine, having 3 kids is a lot. And I'm a single mother as well. Now, my kids are older now. My eldest is an adult. I've got 2 teenagers, but that comes with its own challenges, I can assure you. But I think what it's done is it's given me a language to use with the kids so that when I'm talking to them, I'm explaining to them what's going on. And also it's given me the ability to create that pause I was talking about. So between their behavior and my reaction, so that I'm not necessarily reacting. And then if I do, I'm not perfect. My kids get to see the real me, not necessarily just the one that wrote the book. And so, sometimes it's about coming back and repairing when you're not always showing up as your best self, because it happens to all of us. Being calm is not about being perfect. It's about understanding what you need to do to be able to come back to yourself so that you can, react the way you want to react, not the way your body is forcing you to react. And I think one of the most rewarding things is watching my kids use the language of calm. So my daughter Delta now talks to her friends about calm and explains the nervous system to them and helps them to understand what's going on. And that's one of the most rewarding things I've seen, is watching my children take this and use it out in the world.
I think that's amazing. I think kids should be taught that, because if we were taught that as kids, I feel like everyone would be so much more prepared in the world, right? We'd be able to be calm and actually, act from a place of clarity opposed to just fight or flight, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And your book teaches calm as a repeatable skill, not a personality trait. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so as I said, it's not about being calm all the time. Your life's still going to happen. Things go wrong all the time. It's not about, becoming this white linen wearing, green smoothie sipping goddess.
Yeah.
It's about being a real person. So I'm not trying to get you to create a morning routine or change your personality. It's just about knowing what's going on in the moment. So when things happen, because they will happen, you've got the ability to create that gap, have that pause, get your CEO back online and react from a place of clarity rather than reacting from a place of panic. And it's like going to the gym. It's like building a muscle. You won't get it right the first time. It's a skill that we practice. And the more you practice, the more you're giving your body signals that, okay, I'm safe in this moment. I can do this. I can react in the way I want to react, not in the way I'm forced to react. And the more you do that, the more it becomes almost second nature. And so before you know it, you're just doing it. You're not really thinking about it the way you have to when you first start.
Absolutely. And what are 3 things that you do personally and that you teach in the book that help you not to react immediately? Because I feel like, it's easier said than done. Most of us, instantly react. But how do you kind of hold back and kind of go back to that CEO?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I've got in the book is some simple statements that you can make that create that gap So, or even things like if you're in a meeting and something happens and you feel your body kind of raising, you can take a sip of water. It's not about the water. It takes you, 10 seconds or so to take that sip of water. So it creates the gap. If you're sitting at a desk, you can be thinking about, okay, what's going on with my feet on the floor? Can I feel my feet on the floor? Now, you don't have to say anything out loud, but what you're doing is you're getting yourself back into your body, taking a deep breath. Nobody's going to react if you just breathe before you speak. So all these little things that aren't necessarily noticeable to anyone else are things that you're doing to create that gap. And it only needs to be a few seconds. So we release a whole lot of chemicals when we feel an emotion, and we just need to give our bodies time for those chemicals to dissipate. And then the CEO comes back online. So they're the simplest things that I teach. But also things like, let me think about that for a minute, is a really good statement that you can make that, kind of comes out. You don't actually need to be thinking too much more than getting those words out of your mouth. But again, that creates that space. Or, I'm not sure I can answer that right now. I need to give it some thought. Can I come back to you later? Statements like that can create that gap. So there's a few things that you can do like that just give you that space. And that's essentially what we're looking for here.
I like that. Taking a breath, just taking a moment, right? Before you react, just take a moment to really think about what you're going to say as well. I think so often people just say whatever's on their mind, and it could be hurtful or it could, cause conflict. But it's better just to take a second, take a breather, and just react then, right? Not reacting right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Melinda, how does our inner dialogue play a part in staying calm?
Well, our inner dialogue is often Barry looking for the tiger. So it's panic. Everything's going wrong. People are judging me. I'm going to lose my job. The world is ending. So understanding that is our body's natural reaction to trying to keep us safe. So give yourself some grace and be kind to yourself. We tend to think when that sort of thing happens that there's something wrong with us.
Yeah.
But the main thing I want people to take away from this book is there's nothing wrong with you. This is how your brain works. It's designed to do that because it's trying to keep you safe. So once you understand that, you can kind of take a little bit of a step back from it and go, okay, so this is just my body trying to keep me safe. And if I let my body know that I'm safe, it'll stand down and let the more recent modern part of my brain take over again, and I'll have access to the thinking that I need in this moment.
I love that. To give ourselves some grace. I think that is so needed, right? So often we're so hard on ourselves and we think it's us, but we are not our thoughts. We're just the observer of them, right? And because of that, we have control over them, which I think is really giving ourselves grace and knowing we're not our thoughts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Melinda, I created my platform to inspire, to uplift, and to really showcase that anything is possible with determination and passion. So for any of our viewers, maybe going through a difficult time, maybe is in fight or flight, constantly stressed, or just not maybe seeing their dreams manifest, what would you say to inspire and uplift them?
So I think the main thing I want people to take away is that you're not broken. This is actually how our brains are designed to work. And if you just create that little pause, that gap, then that allows you to take back control of what you're thinking and what you're doing. So, just take that time, breathe out a little bit longer than you breathe in, take a breath, create that little gap, and then you'll come back online and be able to have that thinking that you need to move forward.
And Melinda, let's talk about some of the feedback you've been getting from your readers. I've been seeing you've been doing some book signings. There's huge lineups. So this book is really, really doing well. So tell us about the feedback from your viewers so far.
So it's been really great. Pretty much everyone that I mentioned the book to goes, "Oh my goodness, I need to read it," because it's, as you said, everybody's stressed, everybody's under pressure, all that kind of thing. So it's been really great feedback. And the thing that people are telling me when they read the book is that I kind of take the science of, the neuroscience and explain it in a way that everyone can understand, so that people understand what's going on in their brain. So it's not about, it's not like this big biology lesson or anything like that. By using concepts like, Barry the caveman and the CEO, I can explain it in a way that everyone can understand, and it's really simple, but it's letting them know what's going on in your brain behind the scenes.
I love that. I love the way you break it down. From now on, when I'm panicked, I'm going to say, "Okay, Barry, you need to get out. You need to get out of here. The CEO needs to come in." I'm going to remind myself of that. And I love the book cover, by the way. Looking at it makes me calm. I actually keep it beside my bed just to feel calm, because the colors are so calming. And Melinda, for all of our viewers that want to learn more about your story and purchase your book, where can they do so?
So the best place to find me is on my website, which is calmisaskill.com. I also have a newsletter on LinkedIn. So it's called The Calm Advantage, where I share some tips and tricks about real life calm. So either place, but yeah, the website, calmisaskill.com, and happy to connect with anyone.
Amazing. We're going to link that information below so our viewers can purchase your book. Melinda, thank you so much for being on the show today. Congratulations on this amazing book. And I know we're going to be seeing so much more of you.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely.
The Darriel Roy Show is available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.